At 9 p.m. today, Javier Milei came in via national broadcast to announce the nullifying of around 300 laws by necessity and urgency decree. Hey, by the way, Argentina, you guys are you're completely I'm very sorry. You're completely so good luck with that. Total deregulation of the housing market, including the enabling of landlords to charge rent in US dollars. Oh, sorry, you make your salary in pesos? You have pesos? Well, if you wanna pay rent, you better, and keep in mind, the value of the peso got cut in half the other day. So your rent effectively gets doubled if they keep the proportional worth, you know? Better go down to like an airport or something and exchange your pesos for USD to pay double in rent, assuming they don't raise it. The derogation of protection for land sale, the sale of the complete stock package of all national oil, airlines, and other services to private funds. Bus tickets going from $50 to $500. How? What? How does a bus ticket ever cost that much in any world? This is pesos? Oh, this is in pesos, not dollars? Okay, that makes more sense. Do pesos use the dollar sign? The dollar sign is also the peso sign? Okay, mildly confusing because we were just talking about USD, but okay. You know, the sign's supposed to remind you messages if you are identified at a protest, you will lose your social welfare plan. Elon Musk's Starlink mentioned by name, likely takeover contract for Argentina's national satellite system. Man, he's actually doing it. He's actually full on doing the like ultimate ANCAP shit. Complete deregulation of the labor market and labor protections, complete oversight and employee indemnity after firing with or without a cause. Milei is pretty much fired against every sector. He aims to derogate a law that gives primacy to generic medicine supplies so big pharma can establish pricing as well as establish contracts. Nice. Wow. Argentina is legitimately going to go to like a third world country in the space of a couple of weeks. That's actually incredible. This will get violent. Oh, lots of people are about to die. To be perfectly clear, this is going to lead to mass protests, which is going to lead to a military crackdown. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, massively so. Yeah. Coup likelihood? Well, the problem is that coups are usually done by generals or like business interests, and I'm pretty sure both of those groups like Milei. It's not their first rodeo. There will be an uprising. Isn't it like the 20-year anniversary of the last time there was a gigantic uprising that led to a bunch of police shootings in the street? This might be far worse than that. This might be like significantly worse than that. He's just selling the country off. Argentina was a third world country. Argentina is complicated. I don't think it was a third world country. It's definitely going to be, though. Jesus. Do you think when this blows up that it'll hurt the libertarian movement worldwide? Yeah, sorry, Argentina. You guys are about to be the #1 best possible example of the failing of anarcho-capitalism. Like, you know, with Pinochet and other similar regimes, we have seen examples of how austerity politics and liberalism in an economic sense can hurt the population, but this is far worse than that. You know, this is like, in terms of, you know, Pinochet was more like austerity deregulation with militaristic elements, whereas this seems to be like full on just sell the entire country out. Incredible stuff. Wow. Now you have to pitch in and buy Argentina. Yeah, if you guys donate now, I pledge to buy a bunch of property in Argentina. That's my pledge to you all. I'll be the worst landlord history has ever seen. Latin America's third biggest economy is on its knees after decades of debt and financial mismanagement. Well, good thing that trend isn't about to change, you know? Shock therapy for economy. This historically works very well. Constitutional law expert Emiliano Vitiliani told AFP that the decree could only be overturned if rejected by both the lower house and the Senate. Milei's far-right Libertad Avanza party only has 40 seats in the 257-member lower house and 7 senators of 72. But Milei's margin improves if the members of the center-right Together for Change coalition are taken into account. Wait. In Argentina, executive decrees can be overturned by both halves of the bicameral legislature. Is that true? Yes? Okay, that's interesting. Then there's a possibility this gets cut. Okay, that's good. Potentially hopeful. Yeah, we'll see, Canoe. God damn, this man looks greasy. No, there's no possibility, Vosh. Together for Change party as allied to Milei, they have the majority. Okay, but to be fair, the rulings that are being made here aren't just like, we're going to rob the country blind. It's just going to destroy the country. See, plundering a country is one thing if you're like a colonizer, but if you're actually running a country, you can't just like blow everything up. You know, you're blowing up your seat of power. The decisions that are being made here aren't just stupid in like an unethical way. They're stupid for Milei as well. Unless Milei like dreams of living out his days until his head is mounted on a pike, you know? Like this is very dumb. It's not so like to be clear, I'm not saying it's just unethical, though it certainly is. It's unethical and very, very, very bad if the goal is to like privilege the companies and the ruling class in Argentina. You know, it's going to be too destabilizing. I thought anarcho-capitalism was just a joke ideology that no sane person could take seriously. How did it come to this? Well, first of all anarcho-capitalists believe in, whether they acknowledge it or admit it or not, they believe in the overwhelming supremacy of the state, which is why any time a libertarian has ever taken power, every single time, the police crackdowns follow. Economic liberalization and deregulation is always followed by enormous numbers of military and police resources being dedicated to protecting the wealthy from the desperate poor, you know, so which means fundamentally it's not libertarian. Libertarianism is not possible and can't exist in the real world, not at least right-wing American libertarianism. Socialist libertarianism is consistent, thank you, which is why libertarianism was originally a socialist idea. But it is not possible. The only way to protect the wealthy from being disciplined by the poor is through state power that protects their property rights. You know, you can deregulate to an extent, but the one thing libertarians will never, ever, 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 ever deregulate is property rights, because of course, that's the main thing they're trying to protect. Libertarianism and anarcho-capitalism ultimately are just about serving the interests of the ruling class, not just the business class, but also cultural power, to the extent that they can leverage that cultural power to secure their wealth and the protection from the state. And the state will only ever grow stronger. Keep in mind that when the government, you know, when governments suddenly do their big, like, we're going to privatize everything, you know, we're going to do this austere liberalization, usually because somebody got CIA couped recently, what also happens? Police crackdowns. An increase in economic liberalization almost always comes along with an increase in the security apparatus of the state being used to protect the wealthy. This is the reason why you see this over and over again, especially in Latin America. It is a system that needs the police and needs the military to defend itself against its own inequalities. That's what, you know, Marxists would refer to as like an internal dialectic, an agitation of capital, where you have a system with an internal agitation, an unresolved conflict, which is the income inequality, massive increasing inequality, and the resolution to that comes either in the form of increasing police and military presence or revolution or something else, something like that. But that's the agitation, the internal tension. It's like glass making. You know, you don't want to weave any glass sculpture together if the internal tension means it'll explode if you lightly tap it. You know, you want it to be internally stable. Speaking of internal stability, this is going to shit. This is very, very bad. It's possible that the bicameral legislature, both halves, vote to get rid of these, but I don't know if they will. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I doubt they will, though, because it seems unlikely to me that Milei would put forward this executive order without having already known, you know, that they would go behind it, you know. So it's unlikely to me that he would do this without any consideration. Let's take a look at the actual speech. What do you think his motivations are for this? Well, my guess is that Milei personally, on his own, is crazy, and that's a big part of it. Also, he's probably in direct contact with the ruling class of Argentina, which I'm going to generalize a little bit here, are all Nazis. I'm going to guess, without any information or knowledge whatsoever, that the wealthy ruling class of Argentina is disproportionately made up of, descendants of Nazis, whites, Germans, Europeans, colonizers, Spaniards, whatever, and that there is both an ethnic and an economic component to their perceived supremacy over the rest of Argentina. Have I looked into this? No. Do I need to believe this? No, I believe it in my heart the way a faithful does God. You know, I believe it very truly within me. And my guess is that a lot of these people are also crazy, and they are resentful towards the masses, both for their poverty and for their ethnic and cultural dispositions, and that this is the product of an insane, hysterical effort by the ruling class to consolidate their power because they feel like they're operating on a sort of ticking clock here, because as Argentina's economy grows weaker and more indebted, they feel they have less to leverage with in the global market. That's my guess. That's my guess. Do I know that for sure? Yes. Oh, for sure, Alec Under, 100%, yeah.
Argentina's new president is taking sweeping action on the economy. On Wednesday,
Oh, sorry, I'm
Javier
blocking the
Milei
cool guy.
signed a decree setting out over 300 reforms.
The decree of necessity and urgency that we are presenting today is intended to begin the process of economic regulation that Argentina so badly needs in
Deregulation.
order to start growing.
He went on to set out the list. It includes an end to limits on exports and moves to loosen regulations. There are also plans to privatise state-owned companies. Since taking office earlier this month, Milei has vowed to deliver on a promise of shock therapy for the...
My understanding is that there are so many people in Argentina that are already so desperate and poor, and the fact that he's deregulating everything and threatening to cut, state support for people at protests and blah, blah, blah. Like, if you have literally nothing, what are you supposed to do other than storm the Capitol? This is going to lead to so much incredible... Also, gonna say, are these part of his party? Because there are a lot of very unkind comments that I could make, invoking a lot of demographic, sort of demonic attribute. Like, Jesus Christ. God almighty. I don't even need to say anything.
The economy. That will include deep spending cuts to help tame triple-digit inflation. His government has also devalued Argentina's peso currency by over 50% in a bid to help exporters.
Yo, Javier Gerardo Milei.
The Libertarian won power on a pledge to end the country's long...
The woman in red is the main opposition leader? Oh, you mean the drippy one? I see.
On a pledge to end the country's long economic slump and root out corruption. He wants to slash bureaucracy and shrink the state.
Again, he's not looking to shrink the state. He's looking to enrich the ruling class. He will not be scaling back the influence or prominence of police or military. His government, which has devalued the local peso currency by over 50%, has said it plans to hike taxes for Argentina's grains exports, a key source of global revenue for processed soybeans, corn, and wheat. The push for higher taxes intended to raise revenue so that other levies could be lowered was met last week with surprising criticism from farm groups that predicted the measure would hurt the economy. Interesting. Argentina's poverty rate soared past 40% in the first half of this year. Any bets on how much it's going to continue to soar now that Milei is in office? We'll see.